McHale who gets the catch. He's got patrol.
If an arena could talk and all the stories it could tell, even among the most hallowed venues in Minnesota high school hockey, Doug Woog Arena standing apart in a class of its own in a city known for its fervent support of high school hockey for the last 75 years. We're inside Doug Woog Arena in South St. Paul this evening as Mahtomedi comes in to take on South St. Paul. The winner of this game will take on Simley or St. Paul United, depending on the winner of that game. That game starting about a half hour behind us. Oh, the number one seed Packers in Section 4A. They 17-7-1 record. Mahtomedi 13-8-2, good for the number 4 seed. They knocked off North St. Paul Tartan in the quarterfinal round to get here. South St. Paul with that number 1 seed getting a bye. So the Zephyrs in the navy blue and dark gold. South St. Paul in the home white with black and maroon trim. Nameplates on the backs of their jerseys. And we are ready to go from Doug Woog Arena in South St. Paul as the Packers able to push it into the Zephyr zone, flipped back out to neutral ice, banked ahead of McKenna Deering, and will be whistled icing 10 seconds into the game, and we'll have a face-off deep in the Mahtomedi zone. Starting goaltender Lauren Hammy, 14-8-2, a 1.97 ERA, an excellent season for the Mahtomedi goaltender. She'll have a face-off in her zone just 10 seconds into the game. Face-off slowly works its way down toward the near side, flipped ahead, then poked out to neutral ice, sent back in by Deering. As the Zephyrs break out of the zone, is Erica Broughton able to push it into the Packer zone. Packers trying to play it out to neutral ice. It was knocked down. The Zephyrs able to get it back into the South St. Paul zone. Setting up deep in her own end is Lily Ramirez, 13 goals on the season as the Zephyrs able to briefly hold the zone. Packers poke it back out to neutral ice, knocked around at the red line. It's flung in deep by Emma Dornseif, steered aside by Delaney Norman. 17-7-1, 2.19 goals against average for the Packers this season. Puck battled for down on the near side corner in the Packers zone as the Packers work it free along the near side. Packers poke it out to neutral ice where it's knocked down by Hallie Granick at the red line. Granick sends it over toward the near side where it's Avery Whitmore pushing it ahead into the Packer zone. Long in the near side corner, played behind the Packer net where the Packers trying to set up. And breaking from her own zone is Deering. Deering will flip it into the Zephyr zone. It'll work its way behind the net where Deering able to maintain puck possession. Deering still with it, dropping it back toward the blue line where it's a little bit out of reach. Packers will have to reset at neutral. 15:25 to go, first period, no score. Winner of this game will take on the winner of Simley against St. Paul United. With the Zephyrs play it up toward the far side. Tipped in off the stick of Hannah Swanson deep into the Packer zone. The Packers play it around toward the near side through the corner. Unable to be held on the back door by Amelia Spencer as the Packers work back through neutral. Here's Ramirez in. Ramirez shoots one wide of the net up through the far side corner. It's over to hold the zone is Lily Kirchner. Kirchner will play this one around the net toward the near side where the Zephyrs will retreat from their own end. Dornseif back behind her own net as she gets it over towards Swanson on the near side. The Packers will set up now in their own end. They get it to Bryn Sextauer. Sextauer into the offensive zone. She takes a shot saved by Hammy. Sexauer, the leading goal scorer, was 16 for the Packers this season. Each team now with one shot on goal, 14:32 to go in the first period. We'll have a face-off to the right of Hammy. 2-on-2 for the Zephyrs as they break through the neutral zone. Into the offensive zone is Nelson. Nelson getting cut off, trying to dump it back to the blue line. As a penalty coming here against Mahtomedi as the Packers carry it into the offensive zone. Oh, I thought there was going to be a penalty. It may have just been a delayed offside signal. There was a tripping play that I think got the attention of the South St. Paul bench. Though a face-off will come deep in the Mahtomedi zone. Will remain 5-on-5. 14-12 to go first period. Zephyrs able to push the puck through neutral. Quickly into the offensive zone is Emma Nelson. Nelson in the far side corner, reversing. As she tries to dig it through the corner, but the Packers able to take it away, poke it out to neutral ice. And through neutral into the offensive zone. In front is Justice Rambaugh. Puck is loose in front as it was poked away. As the Zephyrs trying to clear the zone, they'll be able to flip it toward Nelson, but it's off her stick, and the Packers regain in their own zone. It's up the left wing side. It's Ramirez. Ramirez cutting back into the offensive zone. She works her way through the corner. Ramirez circling the net, still with it. She'll take a shot blocked. Ramirez back with it on the far side boards. She drops it back for Ashley Jarakovsky, who sends one high and wide of the net. It's Ramirez trying to get it through the corner. Centering pass poked around as it eventually works its way on the stick of Nelson, who flips it deep into the Packer zone for icing with 13:13 to go first period. No score. They got to look at Delaney Norman. 17-7-1, a 91% save percentage on the season, and a 2.19 goals against average. The Zephyrs able to wrangle the face-off out to neutral ice, where it's taken back and flipped in by Gabby Ogren down to the near side boards. And we will get a whistle as it was touched up by Dornzeif. 13:04 to go here in the first period. Face-off coming in the neutral zone. The Zephyrs able to control the face-off as here's Dornzeif in her own zone with it. She's able to stretch it past the red line. Couldn't get it on the stick, though, of her teammate as it's played back in deep by Deering. Deering will battle forward in the corner as the Zephyrs trying to break out from their own zone. It's poked up toward the far side by the Packers. Great job here by the Packers to take this one away. Sexauer with it. Sexauer takes a shot that might have gotten through to Hammy. The Packers again able to take it away and push it down toward the near side. As here's Ella Reynolds with it. Reynolds in the near side corner as she gets the play tied up. Sexauer trying to dig that puck away from Dornzeif as it comes in on Hammy, and she has to cover up. 12:17 to go first period. No score. Mahtomedi, the number 4 seed. South St. Paul, the number 1 seed in 4A. Zephyrs able to gain the face-off from the near side boards. Hallie Granick driven back into the near side corner where it's taken away by the Packers. Then pushed out to neutral ice as the Packers send it back in deep. Granick from the near side corner will play it around the net as the Zephyrs will sweep it out into the neutral zone and be able to send it deep into the South St. Paul zone. With Norman out of her net to slow it down, she'll play it over toward the near side. They try to get it toward Rambaugh. Rambaugh able to get it ahead, but it was out of the reach on the back door of Sarah Winsonson. Now on the far side in front of the Zephyr bench, the Packers able to get it back in deep to the Zephyr zone. The Zephyrs will set up behind their own net. As reversing direction is Tara Skillings. Skillings, who had a pair of goals in that victory over North St. Paul Tartan in the quarterfinal round. Over at Ramirez on the near side. Ramirez with a shot saved and held on to by Hammy with 11:16 to go in the first period. Packers doing a good job so far in the game of keeping the puck in the offensive zone and keeping those Zephyrs players from being able to have easy clears whenever they do get the puck in their own end. Still loose as Sexauer was trying to push it through as it was blocked, sent up toward the far side. Packers able to hold along the far side boards. It's played around the net by Broughton down to the near side. Then into the neutral zone. They almost got it ahead to Nelson. But it ends up on the stick of Deering. Deering up the right wing, back into the offensive zone. Deering has it poked away from behind as the puck being booted around. Comes down toward the near side and Megan Johnson. Johnson flipping it in. Johnson second on the team with 14 goals this year. The team leader with. Indeed, she is second with 14 goals on the season. The Packers setting up deep in their own end. A great play here by the Zephyrs to try to get the puck tied up, but the Packers able to get it out to neutral. It's into the offensive zone. There's a shot saved by Hammy. As Kate Dwelly Ella Reynolds worked her way in, and we'll have a face-off with 10:16 to go in the first period. 4-1 shots on goal in favor of the Packers. Zephyrs setting up from deep in their own end. They'll be chased around their own net. They get it into the neutral zone, but Lily Kirchner there to gather it in for the Packers as they'll bring it back into the offensive zone. It's Peyton Ersfeld able to push the play up to the far side. Puck tied up behind the net. Played off the backside of the cage. As Tara Skilling's able to get away from Justice Rambaum, and the Zephyrs able to work it out their neutral ice, and then nearly taken away as Granick carries it in. Granick was trying to get it down low. It was intercepted. Banked back into the neutral zone by the Packers. Played in deep by Reynolds. It'll circle behind the net. As Dornzeif will set up deep in their own end, quickly trying to outlet it on the near side as Kirchner sends it far side. Packers setting up in their own end. As Kirchner back with it. Kirchner tried to get it ahead. It was a little bit out of reach of Gabby Madigan. It goes into the Zephyr zone on the near side in the corner. The Packers circle the net with it where it's poked away up into the far side corner. 2-on-3 the other way for the Zephyrs. As into the offensive zone is Avery Whitmore as Whitmore puts one in on Delaney Norman, who holds on with 8:48 to go here in the first period. No score. Face off deep in the South St. Paul zone. 6 points on the season for Whitmore. 3 goals, 3 assists. As rough out front, Nelson was able to get a shot off the face-off. Norman, I don't think, knew that puck was headed her way. The Packers play it around toward the near side. It's able to be taken away by Dornzeif. Dornzeif trying to fight her way through some sticks. Packers unable to clear as it comes free to Donovan. Donovan, though, has it bounce off of her stick. The Packers play it up toward the far side. It'll go into the neutral zone as Dornzeif gathers it back in. Dornzeif and the Zephyrs will set up from deep in their own end. It's intercepted by Deering, but then a great recovery by Dornzeif to poke the puck away as Ellie Donovan plays it in deep to the Packers zone. As Lily Ramirez sets up behind her own net. Past the midpoint of the first period, 7:57 and counting. Here comes Ramirez in offside, and we'll have a face-off in the neutral zone. 4-2 shots on goal in favor of South St. Paul. My name is Patrick Willia. On behalf of all of our SEC TV crew on site this evening, face-off controlled by the Zephyrs. They'll set up from their own end. There's Granick on the far side. Granick trying to sweep it ahead toward Ersfeld. It's out of her reach. Packers with it from their own end. They get it back out to neutral where it's knocked down by Skillings. Skillings tried to play it in from the blue line as it'll come free in front, but Molly Bergwall was unable to catch up to it to get a shot away. And it comes in on Norman, who covers up with 7:32 to go in the first period. You know, the Zephyrs starting to apply some pressure here in the mid stages of this first period after it was mostly a South St. Paul affair in the offensive zone early. The Packers control the face-off to play it around their net toward the near side. Try to chip it ahead toward Rambaum, but it's taken away by Avery Whitmore. They score! As Whitmore got it down low, and the Zephyrs go on top 1-0. .7:21 to go in the first period. As Whitmore was able to get that one in down low. So the Packers trailing 1-0 quickly push it into the offensive zone. Karen Miller credited with the goal. She had 12 on the regular season. Xana Jerilo picked up the other assist. Zephyr setting up from their own zone, but here's a turnover as it's sent back up into the far side corner. Gathered in by Reynolds. Reynolds, though, has it taken away there as the Zephyr slip it around through the near side. The drive from Rambaum, and that's held on to by Hammy from the near side wall with 6:49 to go in the first period. 1-0 Mahtomedi with the lead. The Packers able to control the face-off. It's poked up toward the far side, played ahead for Megan Johnson, but then Johnson has it taken away and pushed up into the Zephyr bench. 6:40 to go in the first period. Zephyrs leading at 1-0 on the goal by Karen Miller. Zephyrs trying to gain control in their own end. Nelson able to get it out ahead, but she's tied up at the red line. Packers back in the offensive zone with it as Granick trying to take the puck away. Zephyrs will set up from their own end, banked off the near side. Sliding up to hold with Deering. Deering again able to hold on the clear attempt as the Packers change. Six minutes remaining here in the first period as a little bit of a discombobulated entry into the offensive zone will allow the Packers to regain control of things. It's Ramirez. Ramirez on the left side into the offensive zone. Ramirez with a shot high over the net. And it caroms all the way back through the neutral zone. Packers looking to pick up the pace a little bit. Here's Deering in. Deering trying to fight through a couple of stick checks as it'll go off the end boards. And the Zephyrs play it over toward the near side corner. Flipped out through neutral where it's knocked down. And it gets by Ramirez after it looked like she initially was able to slow that puck down. Centering feed out front, and it's able to be held on to as Amelia Spencer had worked her way in front. But Norman able to get on top of it. 5:14 to go first period. 1-0 Zephyrs face off deep in the South St. Paul zone. South St. Paul won both meetings between these two teams during the regular season. Packers play it over toward the near side. The 6-hour getting it in deep to the Zephyr zone. Couple players nearly colliding in that near side corner as it works behind the net. Works free. The Packers able to come out with it for a shot from the circle blocked. Lily Kirchner on the far side. Packers able to hold it in deep. Sexauer battling in the corner. It'll work behind the net once again. Gabby Madigan dropping it back to the point. As Deering will ring it behind the net. Well, the Packers dropping it again back behind the net, down to the near side corner. As Deering and Madigan nearly collided. Comes free in the slot. We'll try to get it down low. Puck is still loose. Backhand shot save. Hammy and held on to. 4:05 to go in the first period. Zephyrs leading 1-0 on the goal by Karen Miller. From Gerillo and Whitmore. Dave Palmquist in his 26th season. Team that won 4 state championships in 5 years at the beginning of the decade will have a penalty coming here against South St. Paul. Extra attacker on for the Zephyrs. As Granick racing to catch up to it, but the Packers will touch up. So the first power play of the game will go to the Zephyrs. Converted at a crisp 27% on the power play during the regular season. South St. Paul with a very good penalty kill, 89.7. .349 to go first period, 1-0, Zephyrs leading it. There's a drive just tipped away out front from Emma Dornsife. It comes back to Dornsife through the slot. Dornsife working her way through, sends it far side circle for a shot saved and held on to. 3:35 to go first period. Face off again coming deep in the South St. Paul zone. Megan Johnson will take the face off against Gabby Madigan. Zephyr is able to gain control of the face-off on the far side. The Packers unable to clear as here's a shot through traffic by Broughton. Comes back to the far side circle. Banked back to Dornsife. Dornsife trying to play it through, but cleared by the Packers the length of the ice. 1:22 to go in the power play. 3:10 in the period. 1-0 Mahtomedi leading it. As the Packers trying to generate that short-handed chance. Zephyr setting up deep in their own end. Johnson behind her own cage. Gets it ahead to Dornsife. Dornsife standing at cross ice off the stick of Broughton. Broughton will catch up to it in the corner. Broughton losing control. Broughton trying to drop it back to the blue line as the shot blocked up out of play. 2:41 to go in the period. 52 seconds in the power play. Face off, played up through the far side corner. The Packers trying to clear it off the glass. And it will be able to get by Granick and go deep into the Zephyr zone. It's Tara Skilling setting up behind her own net. Granick getting it through into the offensive zone with some speed. Then forced behind the net was Miller. Miller has it taken away there by the Packers and cleared with 25 seconds to go in the power play. 2:10 to go in the period. 1-0 Zephyrs leading it on the Miller goal. Came about midway through the first period. As here's Ellie Donovan in along the left wing. Donovan still with it. She tries to center it. Zephyr is able to hold. It's played back over toward Donovan. As Reynolds will play it up through the corner. Packers back at full strength with 1:45 to go in the period. It's Reynolds losing it, gaining the offensive zone. It's poked back out to neutral. It's Rambaum. He's trying to get it back in deep. It was blocked off at the blue line. There's Reynolds trying to work her way through. Reynolds pokes it off to the circle for a shot saved. Steered aside up into the corner. It's poked away here. They've caught the Zephyrs caught in a line change. Here's Reynolds, but a great job by Granick to get caught up on the play. And we're going to get a penalty coming here against Reynolds as she put a big hit on Lucy Ward. And we're going to have the second power play coming for Mahtomedi. Now Reynolds getting a little bit too physical with Ward. So the Zephyrs will go right back on the power play, 0 for 1. Packers work their facing off through neutral. Here's Sextauer in shorthanded. Sextauer with a shot over the net. Goes up to the far side. Packers able to hold. Sextauer up in the corner. Trying to fight it through to Madigan. Played around the net over toward the near side. We're under a minute to go here in this first period. Broughton. Getting it ahead at the blue line toward Nelson. It's poked back toward Nelson. Nelson can't quite get it on her stick for a shot, but she's able to maintain the puck. Nelson dropping it back to Johnson. Johnson will be able to collect the puck in on the far side. Johnson driving toward the net, was almost able to slide it down low. Puck loose on the side of the net. Ersfeld able to come through with it momentarily, and the Packers able to clear. 10 seconds to go in the period. No, 5 seconds left. The Zephyrs were initially unable to clear the zone, but then knock it out to neutral as the period comes to an end. So the number 4 seed Zephyrs get the goal midway through the first period from Karen Miller. And they'll take a 1-0 lead and 45 seconds of power play time into the first intermission. We're going to take a break here on SEC TV and come back with your second period next.
My son Andrew was always a joy to be around. He was smart and talented with a personality that just drew people to him. And he is all of those things and more today. I always taught him to be accepting of other people and to be true in everything you do. That's why when Andrew was suddenly fired from his teaching job for being gay, I literally felt my heart break. As a parent, you try to prepare your child for anything that can happen in life, but how do you prepare them for something like that? I hope for a future where no matter what a person's sexual orientation is, people will be treated with respect, equality, and love.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school.
Jessica has been through a lot in her life from early childhood.
My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She came in looking to complete her diploma. She had a family she had to take care of. Anytime she needed help, we provided her help. She realized that we were here for her.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
My graduation, it was something I will never forget. I couldn't explain the emotion I was feeling because people like you and me sometimes may have doubts in ourselves, but I feel that everything's possible.
Jessica's future is brighter than ever.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
South St. Paul 1-0 Mahtomedi after one period. 45 seconds of power play remaining for the Zephyrs as we start the second period. Mahtomedi, the number 4 seed. South St. Paul, the number 1 seed. The winner of this game will take on Simley or St. Paul United, the winner of that other game. 7-6 shots on goal in favor of the Zephyrs after one period. Take a look at the one score from that first period. Karen Miller, who scored 12 on the regular season. You see Avery Whitmore able to slide it through just underneath the goaltender Norman Stick and able to be redirected in by Miller. That's the lone goal of the first period. Whitmore able to find Miller right out in front of the crease. A beautiful little setup. That's the Packers waiting to retake the ice. The Zephyrs re-entering. The top 20 rankings, closing out the regular season. South St. Paul number 5, Mahtomedi number 9. We mentioned earlier, South St. Paul won the 2 regular season meetings between these teams. But it's the Zephyrs who have the lead after the first period this evening, 1-0. As the Packers have retaken the ice. We talked about earlier the rich tradition of hockey in South St. Paul on both the boys and the girls sides of things. South St. Paul Packer girls hockey having won 4 state championships in 5 years. Their most recent tournament appearance in 2015, so they're looking to get back for the first time in 5 years. As the Zephyrs push it into the Packer zone off the opening face-off here for the second period, as Ramirez will loudly clear it out. 30 seconds to go in the Zephyr power play as Dornzeif will set up behind her own net. Drops it back behind her for Broughton. Broughton banking it into the neutral zone as Ramirez intercepts it, able to send it back into the Zephyr zone where Broughton will try to play it ahead once again. As here's Nelson with speed through neutral. It's poked away, but able to be held by Dornzeif. Tries to get it back toward Nelson. As the Packers able to clear, and the power play comes to an end. 16-14 to go, second period, 1-0, Mahtomedi leading it. Both teams back at full strength. The battle for it up in the far side corner. It'll work its way back behind the Zephyr net down toward the near side. The Zephyrs trying to play it up toward the far side. Packers trying to force a mistake in the Zephyr zone as it's played out of up into the net and out of play with 15:49 to go here in the second period. 1-0, Mahtomedi leading it. Karen Miller in the middle stages of that first period, putting the Zephyrs ahead on the great pass from Avery Whitmore in front of the net. The Packers trying to work it down toward the near side. It'll come into the neutral zone as Kirchner will play it back in. Whiffing on the cross-ice pass was Skillings, and we'll get a whistle. We have a face-off coming in the neutral zone. 15:32 to go here in the second period. As the Zephyrs control the face-off as it's played in deep by Gerillo. The Packers behind the net will try to play it around toward the near side. Forced out into the neutral zone. Granick couldn't force it ahead as Gabby Madigan able to get it in deep. As Granick will battle for it now on the end boards in the Zephyr zone. Zephyr is able to work it free along the near side. And taken away by Madigan. Packers able to get it back out to neutral ice. As Ramirez was tied up trying to gain control of the puck as it'll work along the near side. Ramirez slipping, Puck is loose in the near circle as the Packers get it out to neutral ice. Broughton setting up in the neutral zone, banking it ahead in the direction of Bergwald. The Zephyrs will be able to cut it off behind the Packer net and almost able to carry it around, but the Packers bring it out to neutral ice. Quickly up the left wing into the offensive zone is Reynolds. Reynolds still with it behind the net. Reynolds around toward the near side. Is Jerry Lowe, one of those battling for the puck on the near side boards as it works free. The shot save, rebound, they score! Justice Rambaum able to collect the rebound, and the Packers have tied the game. So Justice Rambaum, who had 7 goals in the regular season, coming up with a big one there to tie it up at 1. Coming at the 2:55 mark of the second period. It's a great job by the Packers to drive the net. As you'll see coming off the near side half wall. Just willing her way toward the net was Kirchner. And then the rebound and a wide open net right in front of Justice Rambaum, and the game tied at 1. With a shot save and covered up by Norman. But from Megan Johnson, we'll have a face-off deep in the Packer zone with 13:40 to go here in the second period. 8-7 shots on goal in favor of the Packers. Face-off, played through the corner, up to the far side by the Packers. Sliding up to try to take this one away is Johnson. Johnson tied up in the corner. Puck continuing to be battled for there. It works free, 2-on-3 the other way for the Packers as the pass off of Ogren's stick as she had to turn around as the Zephyrs will be able to get it back in deep. And then this pass out of reach of Ogren, and that'll result in an icing with 13:07 to go here in the second period. 1-1 our score, Justice Rambaum tying the game here early in the second period for South St. Paul. Turnaround shot, wide of the net, down to the near side. The Packers push it out toward neutral. Zephyrs will reset in their own zone with Broughton. Broughton sending it cross ice back toward Dornzeif. Dornzeif was able to play this one through, but that'll be icing, and we'll have a face-off deep in the Mahtomedi zone with 12:47 to go here in the second period. On behalf of all of our crew here tonight, I'm Patrick Lilia. It's a pleasure to be on hand for a semifinal. Winner of this game will take on the winner of Simley and St. Paul United. The Packers control the face-off. Ramirez on the near side with it. Ramirez trying to send it cross ice. It's intercepted. Dornzeif in all alone. Dornzeif, backhand pushed wide of the net. Dornzeif able to recover the puck. Drops it back to the blue line. Dornzeif. It's pushed down low and just tipped wide. As out front was Ersfeld. Dornzeif able to hold. And she'll take a shot through traffic, blocked out front. The Packers back through neutral ice, slipped in deep by Deering. Will circle the net up toward the far side. Dornzeif with a chance to give the Zephyrs the lead back, but shot the breakaway wide of the net. The Packers able to hold the zone. Now the Zephyrs able to regain control. Into the offensive zone, here's Broughton. Broughton with a wobbly shot. A little awkward coming in on Norman. Pushed out to neutral ice by Winstonson. It's Rambaum able to fend off the defender, tried to center it, and it goes off a skate. And taken away here by Madigan. Madigan with a shot, save, rebound was saved. It was a great play by Hammy. They had the initial shot and the follow-up with the pad. Reynolds was trying to work her way through, couldn't quite get her way around Johnson. Back to the point, Ramirez unable to hold. Ramirez will flip it back in, and we'll get a puck played with a high stick. 11 minutes to go here, second period, 1-1 our score. Karen Miller put the Zephyrs ahead midway through the first period, just as Rambaum tying the game at 1 early in the second. The Zephyrs able to control the face-off and dangerously driven toward their own net. Cross-ice pass carried through neutral by Miller. Miller into the offensive zone as it poked away from in front of her. Played through the corner by Gerillo up toward the far side, where the Packers will try to clear it out. Comes free in front, backhand shot by Miller, saved. Puck is still loose, they blew it dead. 10:37 to go here, second period. Controlled by the Zephyrs, then nearly taken away by Sexauer. Pushed into the neutral zone along in front of the Zephyr bench. Packers able to dig it out. Here's Deering. Deering in. Deering with a shot save. Rebound works its way up into the corner. Centering feed was blocked. The Zephyrs able to play it around to the near side corner. Packers couldn't quite get the play cut off, so they'll have to set up deep in their own end as Rambaum will get it in the far side corner. Rambaum still with it. Rambaum speeding into the offensive zone as she tried to work her way between two defenders and couldn't get through. It's loose in the near side corner. Now behind the net. It's played through by Broughton up toward the far side. Packers play it behind the net. Broughton will gain possession in the near corner as she tries to bank this one ahead in the direction of Abby Hansen, but it's out of her reach and will have an icing. 9:29 to go, second period. 1-1 our score, 11-9 shots on goal in favor of South St. Paul. Final regular season standings saw these two teams right there on top, 1-2. Face-off working its way back through the slot. Looked at the way the sectional seedings ended up working out. Mahtomedi ended up the number 4. It's taken away out front by Rambaum, and she got tied up from behind. It's played up toward the far side. 2-on-2 for the Zephyrs, quickly into the offensive zone. A shot save, tipped away with the glove down to the near side corner. The Packers play it back up toward the far side. Sliding up with speed is Johnson. Still loose on the far side. Centering pass was blocked. Reynolds can't quite get it on her stick. Reynolds driven toward the net. She'll bank it back up toward Ramirez. Ramirez still with it. She'll play it into the Mahtomedi zone. It's taken away by Broughton in front of Reynolds, sliding up for a shot that was blocked through the slot. Puck loose in the circle as Broughton able to pick it up, get it out through neutral ice. It'll go deep into the Packers zone. The Packers play it around toward Ramirez on the near side. Play getting tied up in the near side boards. 8:14 to go here, second period. 1-1 our score. Back out at neutral ice, now played ahead by Kirchner. Kirchner into the offensive zone. Kirchner with a shot blocked, comes down to the near side corner. It's played behind the net up toward the far side. As Johnson trying to take the puck away, It'll work its way behind the Zephyr net. Almost got stuck underneath the back of the net. To Ramirez at the point. Ramirez will send it far side. They slide it down low. That one got through to Hammy, who made the save. 7:39 to go, second period. Certainly, this second period has belonged to South St. Paul so far, other than the Dornsife breakaway, which was pushed wide of the net. The Packers control the face-off, able to hold the zone. A shot that got through, saved. Deering from the blue line. The Zephyrs will set up from behind their own net. As Tara Skilling's able to force it into the neutral zone. Zephyrs will bring it in. It'll work through the far side corner as Donovan tied up. Puck played back up toward the far side. Rambaum will retreat behind her own net. Rambaum picking up some speed. She'll rip it in from the blue line on Hammy, who covers up. 6:58 to go here in the second period. The Packers now leading the shots on goal counter 14-9. Madigan will take the face-off against Emma Nelson. So Ramirez able to control as she plays it through the corner. It'll bounce its way up behind the net, up toward the far side. Play tied up on the far side in front of the bench area. Now deep into the Packers zone is Ramirez. A couple of defenders for the Zephyrs watching. The Packers 2-on-2 the other way. Again tied up in front of the Packer bench. The clear attempt was knocked down. The shot pushed wide of the net by Reynolds. Down to the near side corner. The Zephyrs play it back up into the far side. Back out at neutral ice as Reynolds almost able to carry it back in. It was intercepted, sent the length of the ice for a whistle with 5:53 to go here in the second period. 1-1 our score. Zephyrs got one in the first. Bill Mauricio in his fourth season with the Zephyrs, looking to get his team to the section final for the second time in 3 seasons. Knocked down at the red line, then carried in here by Donovan, who got tied up from behind. So Winstonson couldn't clear. They get it to Deering. Deering will skirt the red line. Deering will be able to flip it into the Zephyr zone. It'll bring the net down to the near side. The battle for it there. The Zephyrs come out with it as Donovan had it taken away. The centering feed by Reynolds. It's loose in front and covered up by Hammy with 5:16 to go here in the second period. Madigan will take the face-off against Nelson. Packers again able to control the face-off. Kirchner on the near side. Kirchner winds up for a shot deflected. Loose in front and done just pushed wide off the rebound. The Zephyrs couldn't quite get it together behind the net. Ramirez will drop it back to the far side circle. Nice little move, a shot wide of the net though, and it comes down to the near side. Zephyrs will carry it around their own net once again, but it's taken away again by the Packers. Up in the far side corner. Now working behind the net, and played down toward the near side. Kirchner will play it through the corner slowly as Gerillo touches up, and we'll get a penalty coming here against the Zephyrs. So South St. Paul will go on the power play for the first time. They converted at an excellent 30.5 with the player advantage this season, regular season we should say. Mahtomedi an 87.2% penalty kill. Shot by Deering, rebound, worked through the slot. Zephyrs able to clear. The shots on goal tally now 18-9 in favor of the Packers, who have dominated in the second period in terms of getting pucks on the net. Deering in the near corner. Deering tried to center it. It's loose on the side of the cage, covered up by Hammy. 4:01 to go here in the second period. 1:32 in the power play. Packers looking to take the lead for the first time in the game. The Packers control the face-off. Ramirez just inside the blue line. Wraps it to the near circle for Deering, who plays it behind the goal line. Shot pops free up into the far side corner. It's intercepted by the Zephyrs and cleared. Play getting tied up nicely behind the net by Donovan. Donovan, though, was unable to come away with the puck. That'll force the Packers to have to set up from deep in their own end. A great play to take it away by Broughton. Broughton will work her way back into the offensive zone. Broughton with a shot blocked. Broughton winds up again high and wide of the net, down to the near side. Dornzeif trying to play it through the corner, which he does. Nelson up on the far side boards. Nelson was able to work her way through. They got to head to Sexauer. Sexauer had a shot blocked. Loose in the slot shot, just wide of the net. That comes down to the near side corner. 23 seconds to go on the power play. As the Zephyrs will be able to clear it one more time. Out of reach of Ogren, that'll be an icing. 8 seconds to go on the power play, 2:36 in the period. Face off deep in the South St. Paul zone. Now down to 5 seconds in the power play as Nelson plays it up into the far side. Zephyrs back at full strength. 2:25 to go, second period. So Ogren can't get a hold of the pass. It's sent back into the Packers zone. Packers get it back out to neutral. Nelson into the offensive zone. Nelson with a shot blocked. Able to get it back on her stick. She'll take another shot saved and then grabbed on the hop. And a face-off deep in the Packers zone with 2:01 to go here in this second period. Zephyrs able to gain control of the face-off. Skillings will ring it through the corner behind the net. Centering pass off the backside of the net. Wraparound attempt was lost. Puck working free as Granick slid up to try to push it through. They'll come behind the Packer net. They'll play it over toward the near side. 1:40 to go here, second period. It'll be pushed into the neutral zone. Skillings will reset in her own end. Skillings will flip it into the stands with 1:29 to go here in the second period. Face off deep in the Mahtomedi zone. Nelson through neutral, able to gain the offensive zone. Shot save, rebound loose and popped into the blue. The Zephyrs able to play it back around the net. Donovan with it. Donovan getting it back toward Nelson. Centering pass intercepted. As Madigan trying to work her way through from deep in her own zone. She'll get it out to neutral. Madigan into the offensive zone. Madigan tied up from behind by Broughton. 54 seconds to go here in the period. Trying to get it ahead to Nelson. Sent in deep from just in front of the Zephyr bench. Down to 40 seconds to go here in the period as the Packers will break from their own end. Ramirez into the offensive zone. Penalty coming here against Mahtomedi. She was shoved into the boards by Avery Whitmore. And the Packers will go back on the power play late in the second period. 31.0 remaining. Whitmore will go for a slash. Face-off splits the two South St. Paul defenders. It'll go deep into the Packers zone. 20 seconds to go in the period. Here's Deering in. Deering with a shot wide of the net. Packers able to maintain control of the puck as it's swept down into the near side corner. 5 seconds to go in the period. As the period comes to an end, the Packers having the much better part of the play in that second period. They get the lone goal in that middle frame as well from Justice Rambaum. That tied the game early in the frame. And we will go to the second intermission here from Doug Woog Arena with the Packers and the Zephyrs tied at 1. We're going to take a break and come back with your third period in just a little while. You're watching SEC TV. Coverage of the 4A semifinal between Mahtomedi and South St. Paul.
Bring it. Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys. You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one? I gotta go eat, man. Sorry. I'll see you later.
Between Mahtomedi and South St. Paul. The number 4 seed Zephyrs and the number 1 seed Packers. Winner of this game will take on the winner of Simley and St. Paul United, the 2-3 matchup. Zephyrs got ahead early in the first period. The Packers tying it up early in the second. The Packers will start this third period with a minute 29 of power play time. We'll take a look at the scoring replays for you with Karen Miller in the first period. You see the beautiful feed here from Whitmore. Whitmore digging it off the near side wall and finding Miller on the back door to beat Delaney Norman. That made it 1-0 Mahtomedi midway through the first period. And it would stay that way until early in the second. We'll get one more look at the replay. And you see driving in there was Gabby Madigan on goal. Madigan just fighting her way through. And the shot cleaned up by Justice Rambaum. Rambaum, who had 7 goals on the regular season. What a great play initially to just drive through the slot with the defender draped on her back and get that shot away. As the Zephyrs retake the ice. Look at some of the key wins that these teams had this season. We start with the Packers. Wins over Proctor Hermantown, defending third place champion from last year in 1A. Duluth Marshall was beating the Zephyrs twice. And Simley and Hutchinson, both of those teams angling to be tournament participants this season. And for the Zephyrs, they beat Rochester Lord, Chisago Lakes, and Mound West Tonka. Some of their key wins this season. 17 minutes and maybe more to decide who's going to edge one step closer to the state tournament as the road to St. Paul has reached its final 2 stops, including tonight. Megan Johnson will take the face-off against Gabby Madigan. And we are underway here in the third period. The Zephyrs able to push it into the Packers zone. The Packers out to the red line as Sextower gets it in deep. Zephyrs ring it over toward the near side. And the Packers will set up from deep in their own end as Ramirez back to collect it. Ramirez with Nelson bearing down on her, forcing Ramirez to slow down. Packers having to set up deep in their own zone and having some trouble getting it out to neutral ice. 55 seconds now to go on the power play. Shipped over toward Madigan on the near, Reynolds on the near side as Reynolds plays it around the net up toward the far side. The shot from the circle save and held on to with 16:10 to go in the period. 40 seconds in the power play. Face-off controlled by Reynolds. Reynolds with a shot just tipped wide of the net. The Zephyrs behind the net with it. Trying to clear. Reynolds can't hold. As Ramirez gathers it back in. Ramirez with Donovan in pursuit. Ramirez streaking up the right wing as it poked free as she gained the offensive zone. The Packers still with it in the offensive end, and then Donovan going to be able to gather it in on the overskate. Donovan into the offensive zone. She'll chip it down to the near side corner with 5 seconds to go on the power play. The Packers get it back out to neutral, flipped in by Skillings, and the Zephyrs come back to full strength. 15:28 to go in regulation. 1-1 our score as Reynolds on the left wing. Reynolds winds up for a shot that was tipped as it went off a defender. And a penalty will be coming here against South St. Paul. Into the offensive zone, whiffing on it. First was Miller, and then a shot saved and held on to. Well, the Zephyrs will go on their third power play. They are 0 for 2. (15:10) remaining in regulation. As Johnson will take the face off for the Zephyrs. She's able to push it down into the near side corner as Erzfeld battling for it. Able to work free for a shot from Nelson that was saved. That comes down into the near side corner. Packers able to clear. Zephyrs deep in their own zone. Slipping and losing it as it comes down into the near side corner is Johnson. Johnson trying to come back to pick it up in the near side as several more players end up on the ice. Nelson trying to work it free. It was driven back in by Deering. We'll get a whistle with 14:30 remaining in regulation. 1:19 in the Zephyr power play. Johnson will take the face-off against Reynolds. 22-13 shots on goal in favor of the Packers. This is Broughton. Off the stick of Dornzeif, taken away by the Packers. Reynolds into the offensive zone. Reynolds trying to drag her way through the circle, but it's taken away by Broughton. One-time blast by Deering over the top of the net. As Ramirez was able to hold, Ramirez has it taken away up in the corner. As the Zephyrs set up in their own end. Johnson losing it. Winsonson then loses it back inside her own blue line, but then Nelson lost it. Winsonson got it back in deep. It's banked back out to neutral ice. Deering into the offensive zone. Deering with a shot glove save. Rebound is free. Deering with a shot tipped over the net. It's battled for behind the net. Centering pass intercepted out front by the Zephyrs. Cleared out to neutral ice by Miller. 16 seconds to go on the power play as Broughton gets it ahead to Miller. Miller will play it in deep to the Packers zone. The Packers setting up behind their own net, banked off the near side boards for a clear. That will do it for the power play. The Zephyrs again set up deep in their own end, played over toward the near side. Jarakovsky was able to hold the zone. Zephyrs trying to clear. Ramirez able to hold. Ramirez will play this one through the corner up toward the far side. Granick battling to get there first. It's pushed into the neutral zone and then sent back into the Mahtomedi end. So get by Ramirez in deep to the Packers zone. Ramirez will start there. Ramirez into the offensive zone with Jarakovsky. Ramirez on the near side. Taken away by Jarakovsky. Ramirez pushes one off the side of the net. It's rung around toward the near side. Ramirez able to hold the zone. It's intercepted by Gerillo. Gerillo will flip it into the South St. Paul zone. Banked off the glass, back through neutral. As we'll get a whistle with 12:03 to go and a puck played with a high stick. It'll come deep into the Zephyr end. The drive blocked. Loose in front of the net. Reynolds couldn't get a shot away. They announced St. Paul United has defeated Simley. So they will be awaiting the winner of this game with a berth in the state tournament on the line. Deering wide of the net in front and up toward the far side. Pushed through the circle, was blocked out front. Work around the net down toward the near side. Flipped out to neutral as swinging at it was Johnson. It's Nelson in the corner with it. Nelson trying to maintain possession as a couple of Packers as Donovan joins the fray. Packers break the other way, 2-on-2. Here's Reynolds. Reynolds into the offensive zone. Reynolds' centering feed was tipped away by Dornzeif. Reynolds on the far side. It's Nelson trying to clear. Ramirez holds. Ramirez still with it. Ramirez with a shot high and wide of the net. Over to Deering. Deering in the circle. Deering, backhand shot, pad save by Hammy down to the near side. It's Kayla Matuzik sliding up to try to play it through the corner. It's sent up into the net with 10:42 to go. Face off deep in the Mahtomedi zone. It's played down into the near side corner. Puck will work its way back behind the net, centering feed off the back of the net as the Zephyrs able to gather it in, flipped up into the scorer's table. We'll have another face-off in the Zephyr end with 10:31 remaining in regulation. Zephyrs got one in the first from Karen Miller. Packers got theirs early in the second from Justice Rambaum. Deering having an excellent season from that defensive position. Backhand shot was saved by Hammy as it's carried around the net by Gerolo. So that was touched up offside by the Packers. It'll have a neutral zone face-off with 10:19 remaining in regulation. The number 1 seed Packers, the number 4 seed Zephyrs in this 4A semifinal. The Zephyrs control off the face-off. Banked off the far side boards, carried in by Miller, but Miller is taken off the puck there. Out past the red line where it's swept ahead back into the offensive zone by Miller, who has it poked away from behind. It comes down toward the near side as Granick couldn't keep it moving forward. Rambaum into the offensive zone. Rambaum driven up to the far side board. She'll cycle it through the corner. Zephyrs will set up behind their own net. Skillings into the offensive zone. Skillings with a shot save. Norman up into the corner. 9:37 remaining. The Zephyrs able to push it in the direction of the net by Nelson. It's played in deep to the Zephyr end as Granick will set up with it. Granick stretch pass ahead into the offensive zone for Nelson. Nelson with a shot wide of the net. That's poked away from Donovan down to the near side. Donovan with it in the corner. She'll ramp it up out of play with 9:13 to go, and that'll bring it into the neutral zone. As Dornzeif able to push the face-off ahead. It's Nelson and Donovan trying to converge on it. It's played down toward the near side in the Packers zone. The Packers will set up behind their own net. Stretch pass trying to get it ahead toward Sexauer. It'll go off her skates. But that'll allow it to be carried in. Carried down toward the near side. Drop back toward Deering. Deering through traffic just tipped wide. As Madigan was tied up with Dornzeif. Donovan trying to dig it out from behind the net. Donovan up into the corner will play it back over to Dornzeif. Dornzeif, head to Nelson. Nelson will flip it in from the blue line. Shot saved by the goaltender Norman. The Packers get it out to neutral. As it's tipped in by Ersfeld. Steered aside up into the corner by Norman. The South St. Paul faithful wanting a penalty for that last collision. As Broughton sliding up was able to hold. And a puck played with a high stick by the Packers will draw a whistle with 8:03 remaining. That'll result in a face-off deep in the Packers zone. Loose in the circle, backhand shot, loose in front. It's carried around the net by Deering. Deering gets it off ahead. Packers able to push it through neutral. Reynolds into the offensive zone, tried to drop it behind her. It's intercepted by Skillings. Skilling's unable to clear as Skilling's tied up on the far side boards. Packers able to dig it out. Rambomb comes free. She'll take a shot save and held onto by Hammy. 7:37 remaining in regulation. 1-1 our score. Rambomb, quick shot, blocked in front. Dornzeif up in the corner, plays it around to Broughton. Broughton, see this one go all the way through the neutral zone and wide of the net. Played back over toward Deering on the near side. Deering taken away, quick shot, turnaround, save. Does it work its way free? It's Mahtomedi had a couple of golden chances to take the lead. It's quickly swept back into the Mahtomedi zone. The Zephyrs trying to set up behind their own net. 2 shots on Norman came from the turnover. Was initially able to be held, and now quickly back into the offensive zone. Here's Broughton. Broughton with a shot saved and held onto with 6:39 remaining in regulation. Well, the Zephyrs had a quick shot and then a turnover in front of the net enabled another shot on Norman. But Norman able to keep the game tied at 1. The Packers able to take it away in front of the net. They'll work it through neutral as Granick back to pick it up in her own end. The Zephyrs setting up as it's banked off the near side boards. As Miller couldn't quite keep control. As Whitmore with it. Whitmore being driven into the corner. Puck working its way free. Whitmore trying to drive it toward the net. Pushed wide off the end boards. Zephyrs able to hold the zone. Ends up on the far side. And the Packers able to clear it out. 6 minutes to play in regulation. As Granick gets it back into the Packers zone. Deering on the near side. Is able to get it through to Sexauer. Sexauer will roll it in on Hammy, who steers it aside. The Packers trying to get the play tied up on the far side corner in the Zephyrs zone. It comes back toward the near side. Skillings up in the far side corner, able to gain control of it. Skillings will play it back behind the net for Granick on the near side. Granick will send this one into the stands with 5:22 remaining in regulation. Ramirez controls the face-off. Ramirez sends it cross ice. Winding up for a blast through traffic, just tipped wide from Kirchner. Ramirez. Back through to Reynolds. Reynolds with a shot off a shin up to the far side. Packers again able to hold as Broughton gains control. Broughton trying to slide this one through toward Hannah Swanson, who gets it in deep to the Packer zone. 4:55 remaining in regulation. 1-1 our score. And to Rambomb. Rambomb into the offensive zone, drops it to Reynolds. Reynolds over to Rambomb. We get back to Reynolds for a shot save. Rebound, they score! Leave Gabby Ogren caught up to the rebound on the far side. And the Packers lead with 4:39 remaining, 2-1. As you'll see, the initial save made, and Ogren indeed from the far, just inside the far circle on the rebound. And the Packers have their first lead of the game. 4:39 remaining in regulation. Ogren had 3 goals on the regular season, and perhaps none bigger than that one. The Packers will set up from their own zone. And will sneak through the neutral zone. Lighting up to gather it back in is Ramirez. Ramirez, behind her own net, will fling it along the near side. That'll be an icing with 4:11 remaining. Gabby Ogren with the go-ahead goal at the 4:39 remaining mark of this third period. And the Packers looking to hold on and advance to take on St. Paul United in the 4A final. They got it ahead to Rambaum. Deering will fling it into the offensive zone, and that'll go just wide of the net. One of those little dump attempts that ends up being a lot more dangerous than it looks like it's going to end up. It's Ramirez in. Ramirez shot save, knocked down and covered up by Hammy. 3:38 remaining in regulation. 30-19 shots on goal in favor of South St. Paul. Gabby Ogren putting the Packers ahead late in the third period. Packers looking to advance to take on St. Paul United for the 4A title. Zephyrs working the face off through neutral. Here's Miller in. Miller with a shot save and able to be covered up on the rebound by Norman. 3:28 remaining. The Zephyrs push the face off behind the net. Sent up into the far side corner. Broughton unable to hold. It'll go into the neutral zone. It's peeling back in for a shot save with the pad was Gerillo. The shot knocked down in front. Packers able to gather it back in. 3 minutes remaining. The shot goes in on Norman again. Packers will try to set up from their own end. They'll get it out to neutral as Broughton gathers it in. Broughton into the offensive zone. Puck is loose high up in the slot. Packers able to force it out to neutral ice. Winstonson gets to it. Winstonson with a shot save. Rebound able to be held on to with 2:37 remaining. Reynolds will take the face-off against Donovan. Deering able to hold. She plays it along to the near side. 2:28 remaining in regulation. 2-1, South St. Paul leading. Taking the lead here late in the third period as Nelson trying to drive through, tried to drop it back behind her. Packers able to play it around. 2:15 remaining. As it's flipped through neutral, this will go for icing with 2:09. Timeout will be taken here by the Zephyrs. With 2:09 remaining, they trail at 2-1. Gabby Ogren giving the Packers the lead for the first time in the game with 3:39 remaining in regulation. Zephyrs got on the board first in the middle part of the first period. Karen Miller on a beautiful setup from Avery Whitmore in front of the net. Put the Zephyrs ahead 1-0. The Packers tied it up early in the second. Justice Rambaum off of a rebound. We stayed 1-1 for the bulk of two periods. And then Gabby Ogren off a rebound, giving the Packers the lead for the first time in the game, and that's where we are with just over 2 minutes remaining. 32-23 shots on goal. in favor of South St. Paul. As you see the bracket, St. Paul United has won. They will await the winner of this game. The face-off will come deep in the Packers zone. Packers leading 2-1, 2:09 remaining. Johnson will take the face-off against Deering. Nelson can't gain control of the puck. Empty net for the Zephyrs as they broke the timeout, 6-on-5 as Dornzeif beginning from deep in her own end. 1:55 left. The shot staved with the pad off the stick of Johnson. Down into the near side corner. 1:45 left. The shot save, rebound is played up into the far side corner. Packers trying to work it free along the far side boards. It's a shot from Broughton, saved with the stick, sent down to the near side corner. As Granick was trying to work the puck free on the near side, thrown toward the empty net, and that'll just be deflected wide as Dornzeif was able to get in front of it. 1:13 to go. Packers 2, Zephyrs 1. Dornzeif into the offensive zone on the near side. Dornzeif will cycle it into the corner. Puck worked free. Dornzeif able to hold. Her shot is blocked. Knocked down. It's loose in front. Sent up toward the far side. Under a minute to go, 50 seconds. Packers able to clear as Dornzeif will pick it up in her own end. Pass gets over to Skillings. Skillings able to play it through to Broughton. It's sent back into the neutral zone by the Packers. 35 seconds remaining. Tipped up toward the far side. Ramirez gathering it in. Ramirez will poke it into the neutral zone. Packers with it deep in their own end. 20 seconds remaining. Banked off the glass. Unable to be held as it's sent deep into the the Zephyr zone with 14.6 left. That'll be icing. And a face-off deep in the Packer zone. As the Packers will take their timeout to discuss defensive strategy. Gabby Ogren putting the Packers ahead late in the third period with her by far biggest goal of the season. Had 3 on the regular campaign. Winner of this game will take on St. Paul United, who knocked off Simley. That game started about a half hour ahead of us. On behalf of all of our crew here at SCC TV, we're happy you were able to join us. I'm Patrick Lilly. On behalf of everyone here, the guys in the truck, on the cameras, your social media, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube. There we go, 14.6 remaining. Face off deep in the Packer zone. Still loose in the circle. Pushed into the near side corner, 8 seconds remaining. As it will be cleared out through neutral. 2 seconds, 1 second, and that will do it. Gabby Ogren with the late goal, and the Packers are moving on. They will take on St. Paul United with a spot in St. Paul on the line, as the Zephyrs played a strong game on defense, but will come up just short. And a really good season for the Zephyrs comes to an end this evening in South St. Paul. Just to recap quickly one more time, in the first period, it was Karen Miller giving the Zephyrs a 1-0 lead. Remained 1-0 after one period. And then early in the second period for South St. Paul, it was Justice Rambaum tying the game up at 1. And then in the third period, with 3:39 remaining, it was Gabby Ogren giving the Packers the lead, which they would not relinquish, and they go on to win it 2-1, as you see the bracket there. Yes, the Packers will take on St. Paul United later this week. Well, on behalf of all of our crew here at Doug Woog Arena, I'm Patrick Lilia. For David and everyone back in the truck, for our camera crew, thank everybody for tuning in this evening. Final score one more time: South St. Paul 2 and Mahtomedi 1. Thanks for watching this presentation of SEC Sports. Have a good night, everybody.